Welcome to LAconic. I'm your host, Adam Pettyjohn. My guest today comes all the way from Paris. Goba is a fashion designer with his own company, Homies from Paris. I'm excited to know more about his company and what brings him to LA. Goba, welcome to LAconic.
Merci. Merci beaucoup.
You know, this whole podcast is about inspiring people.
Okay, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you what inspires you and what inspires you to keep going.
I get inspired by a lot of things. I mean, just life in general. Like, I feel like life is a journey, and you go through some highs and lows. You know, you go through some highs and lows, like your whole life, and that's basically what inspires me the most. Like everything that happens, because like basically the name of my clothing brand is Homies from Paris, and that is basically my story, me and my friends. So when you with your friends, you go through some situation together. That's what friends are about, you know, like being there when you're down, and like but also being there, you know, in your best moments. So that's what inspires me a lot, the most. My man.
Yeah, no worries. And Homies from Paris.
Homies from Paris.
Yeah, so where did that have anything to do with the Kanye West and Jay-Z song by any chance? Just curiosity, and when did this whole idea even come about?
I mean, I'm actually a nigga in Paris, but you know.
You know, I can't say that, so I'm gonna let you say that.
But now, to be honest, not really. Homies from Paris is just really me and my friends. Because every time we had an occasion, every time we were able to, we were just like in Paris, not shopping because we couldn't but like Paris is a lot of fancy stores, but so we were like window shopping, you know, and I would say kind of manifesting like just going to those designer stores and being like, okay, one day it's about to be us, one day we gonna wear like this and that, and why not design too? So that's really what it's about. Homies from Paris is just like being with your friends and enjoying the moment. So it's really what it's about, you know. But Kanye is definitely an inspiration, though.
Yeah, no, of course he's like, you know, huge on his stuff. But when did it start? When did Homies from Paris start? And where were you? And do you remember that moment when that happened? Can you walk us through on that?
I remember one day, because I was still in high school. I remember one day running into my dad's room, and I was like, Dad, I'm about to start a clothing brand. I was like, okay, let's do it, you know. Because, like, basically the thing is that, I mean, you know, I guess, like, the first day of school, like, you gotta...
Yeah. You mentioned that, so...
Yeah, you gotta be cool, you gotta be fresh, airline gotta be done, you know, you go shopping with your parents, like, maybe a week before to make sure that you have some new shoes, new outfits. And so it's kind of like, I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of like fashion week before, like, you're ready, you know, it's fashion week, you know? Mm-hmm. So basically what I was doing in my school, that was like kind of like first day of school every day. So every day you have to, you know, come with some friends, something new. And that's how the trends goes. Like basically, like someone gonna see like the new sneakers on you, the new t-shirt, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, where is that? Where does that come from? And then they're gonna try to get the same piece. And like next week, the whole school got the same thing. So you gotta start over again and like find something new. So that's kind of when I was like, okay, so if I want to be different, if I want to express myself in a way that is really me, and I don't look like anyone else, anybody else, then I gotta find something that no one has. And what's the best way to actually have like something that no one else has is like to create a piece. Mm-hmm. So that's when I'm starting experimenting and testing and coming up with pieces. So that's like basically how I started. That was like ready to, you know, have something different, have something me, and I started wearing those pieces like I was doing, you know, at school. Not telling anyone, but I was actually the one making it, and like the people who come to me like, yo, I never seen that before, so where you got that from? You know?
Yeah.
So, and I wouldn't actually tell them that I was doing it. I was like, oh, okay, so if you like it, another guy, so I might be able like to put a few pieces. And then I was giving my friends like pieces, and then their friends were like, where does that come from? And that's kind of when I was like, okay, so if the people like already rock with it and they like it, then I should probably make an Instagram, or and so people like, I mean the point was like to have a place where the people could like go and find the pieces, but actually I didn't want the people to know it was me, because I didn't want it to be judged for me, but like for what I do. So I wanted like the people to really like focus on the creation, and like, because like in France the mentality is kind of like, if I see it I like it, but if I know it's you I won't support, because like you kind of like, why would I, it's just like I see you every day in class, so it's like, why would I support? That's not the same mentality. So I was like, I don't want to be judged for who I am, or like who I know, anything like that. I just want you to be like, you like the piece, you get it. You don't like the piece, that's fine. So yeah, that's kind of how I started.
It's funny you actually mentioned the they don't want to support you, right? But they'll support some other random person.
Definitely.
That's on everything, though. I mean, I you say it happens in French, but in France, but it also happens here too. I think a lot of people, they rather just go support other people, but if it's you, they're like, nah, I'm okay. Or even if you ask a simple question, like a simple thing, like, can you post, it's free. Can you post my stuff on your story? And like, no, but then they'll go post like someone like Kim Kardashian.
Exactly. Like that. I mean, I don't know why it gets like that, but like, even if like I feel like some people can see greatness, unless other people like, you have to be validated by people from outside to be validated by people who actually knows you. It's like, I don't know, because like, as you just said, you rather like support someone they don't know and they probably won't even know than support like someone close to them. It's just kind of weird to me, because like me personally, when I'm online, if I check and if I see like a new clothing brand and I like it, I'm just gonna get it. I'm just gonna buy it. If my friend start a new project, I won't judge, because I know him. It's like, if you do music, if I like it, I might share your music. If I don't like it, I might still share your music, because like, I know you're trying, you're trying to get there, and we never know, because like maybe you're not there yet, but like you're gonna keep going, and that's what's gonna make the difference. And maybe in 2 years you're really the guy, because like you never stop.
Yeah.
So it's like, even when you don't like something, you gotta be able to see there's like a potential behind it. And if you feel like, if you have like knowledge in the thing that your friends are doing, and you feel like there is like thing we should correct, like, just be honest with them, but like, but at least support is not necessary buying the pieces or buying what your friend does. It can be like, giving him advices, if of course you're in a position where you can give advice, because like, if you don't know anything about the subject, just be quiet and like repost it.
Say that again. I love, it's like they always say, stay in your lane, right? It's like,
Exactly.
how not that it's going off topic, but I was listening to an episode with Dr. Phil, and I like Bill Maher, but he was talking about marriage and relationships, and it's like, you've never been married, dude. You have no idea what it is to be married, whatever there was. And it was just like, that's like a perfect example. It was like, you can't give advice of something you have no idea. You've never been in that position.
Yeah.
We talked last when we had dinner. You were talking about the history of things, and I know a lot of people these days don't really give a fuck about history. They really just don't. You went to school to study the was it clothing, like history, right?
Exactly.
And stuff like that. How was that, and how did that help you?
That was something I really like to do, because as a designer and as a creative person, there's like multiple things that you can get from that. Like, for example, like looking at archives, you're gonna like find some inspiration and like some stuff that you can, just like maybe rework, or like just put in your mood boards, and like I mean that's just like inspiration that no one uses, because like now it's just stuff focus self focus on the next step, on the next thing to do, that we don't even look back and see how people used to do things. So that's actually interesting for me to see how people used to do things. And one of the thing I loved is like looking at designer story. So like you can look at Yves Saint Laurent, you can look at Louis Vuitton and see how they started. What did they do? Because like Louis Vuitton didn't like become Louis Vuitton overnight. So it's like really looking at their stories and say, okay, so it started like this. Now you had to. It was just like a normal human being, before becoming global. And that's really important to I feel like to see these things, because like I just feel like when you start a project, if you got like big goals and I don't know if you want to be if you got big goals, people won't believe in you, and they probably about to think that's impossible. Nah, you can do it, like, because like how but there is a how. You just gotta look and study and see and then do things. So like history is, I think, important, because that's where you learn how people used to do things. And plus, like, sometimes I just like look at designer stories and be like, oh damn, he did that. I do that too. Even without knowing that, because like I did that in the past, but like I saw that they were doing that too. I don't know if what I say makes sense, but you get me.
No, I get it. And how important was Virgil to you? Rest in peace, Virgil. But how was he? Was he any impact on you? Did he have an impact on you or anything? Or, I know we talked about it, but you don't see a lot of African Americans in the industry of fashion, right? So, I know he's one of the top names there. I mean, I can probably name maybe 10 people, and Virgil's one of those.
Virgil was a big inspiration for a lot of things. That's kind of funny though, because I remember being young. I mean, I don't know if I was as a black person, because I don't want to label it too much, but that was kind of weird, like getting into like all those designer stores. I didn't feel I was at the right place, and I felt like the people there would make you feel it. And with Virgil, that's kind of like, how to say it, that's progress. That's really history, because that's putting a black person around the table taking decisions. So it's bigger than fashion itself. It's like almost political. It's like acceptance. And now when you just look at when you look at billboards, when you look at the marketing, you see black people a lot. But like when we look back like 10 years ago, like we wouldn't see any black figure. Like even myself, like growing up, I remember like it was hard to actually have like figure like to look up to, because like I just feel like black people like weren't in the scene like that. Maybe a little bit in music, but that's it. Outside of music, if you are looking at the runways, you wouldn't see no black person, no black people. If you're looking at, I mean, anything that's outside of music, you wouldn't see anyone. So that was kind of hard to really find a person like, oh, okay, it's just like older than me, but just like me. So okay, I can get inspired. But that's kind of what came with Virgil. That's kind of what came with Virgil. So, and plus, once again, he was just like a normal guy, human being. From what I know, just like studying graphic artist and at the right place at the right time, talented, and he just got an opportunity and he took his chance, and boom, the rest is history. So Virgil is kind of reminder to anyone that if you really work hard and believe in yourself and keep going, then you can go way bigger than you imagine. So yeah, big inspiration for me.
Yeah, and you mentioned how like you find inspiration too from music, and hip hop.
A lot.
How do you use that though for your clothing brand?
I love looking at the music marketing, because I feel like they are like innovating a lot. it's just like, when you look at the army, like we have internet because the army needed like to make some progress to communicate, right? When you look at the music marketing, it's kind of like the same way. It's like they always need to find something else to make the people listen to the music. So they kind of have to think outside of the box. That's the thing. They have to think outside of the box and to find new ways to promote the music. And because like if you think about it, like there's no normal way to promote anything, but you could think, okay, so I do some music, so I could talk about how good I sing. I could talk about how good my team is, like the musicians behind me. But now they find completely new way to promote things and the music, and that's what I like. And I kind of feel like if you got like any business, you should be inspired by the music marketing, because they show you that there's so many different ways to market, your ideas, your products, and even like designing, as we talked during dinner. That's so I was looking at Central C. You heard of him, right?
Yeah, he's the guy from London, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, the hip hop guy.
So I was kind of like looking at a Central C way of doing things, and his marketing wasn't only the way he promoted his music, but I was like the music process itself, like the way he picked the beats, the way you make the hooks. Like you can like just like take like 2, 3, 4, 5 songs of him. They won't be the same, but the recipe is kind of the same. And that's like finding a beat that will like stay in your mind. So that's kind of a commercial way if you think about it. But like that's finding a beat that will stay in your mind, and at the same time you will find a hook that you can remember super easily. But at the same time, that's something that you never heard anywhere else before. So it's like when you hear it for the first time, then that's just gonna stay in your mind like for days. And when I was designing, I was like, okay, so I'm a good designer. I know it, because like otherwise, like no one would just like rock with it, So yeah. I just know that I got possibilities, and I'm a creative person. But at the same time, I was like, okay, so I essentially getting bigger than anyone else. And why is he? That's like the why. That's the biggest question. Why is he, growing at a faster pace? And I felt like that was because he was like always using the recipe. So I was like, if I design now, I gotta think about something that will stand out so much that when you see it, it just stay in your mind. And that's kind of when I came with the art, and with species, and that became my biggest collection yet, So yeah, no, I just feel like music is so interesting in like many ways, many ways.
Yeah, let's go. You mentioned the heart, so we have to talk about the heart. And you're wearing it right now, so yeah. I like it. And thanks for the, for rocking sure. Homies from Paris for now. Sure. So the heart, during what I see that is just like positive. I look at the pandemic, and I like how everyone was so negative, and it was a downtime, and people weren't that happy, and I just think this brings like some happiness, and it's a heart, and it's big, and it's green, and it's cool.
Yeah.
What did that come about? Was that literally from listening to the hip hop guy, or was it just
the urge? Is like one thing. Since I started designing, I've always, when you design, it's writing a story. When you think about it, and you gotta know what you want to tell the people. So it's like sharing, good vibes, positivity. The values of a brand are, youth. But I'm French, my bad. Youth. It's youth, friendship. I mean spiritual youth though, not youth. Why? Because like, I just feel like youth is like putting a case in what's really youth. I mean that's another subject, but it's like spiritual youth, because like you can't be like any age, but that's kind of your mindset, how you think and how you see things, and like it's kind of like keeping like the kid in you, So youth, spiritual youth, love and friendship, those are the values. So I just feel like Earth makes sense because it's like sending good vibes to people, and like when you see it, you can like no one like sees Earth and be like, oh, you know. So it's like just like even like if you unconsciously, it will like just like send you a good message, right? And so as many people you get like to it's like when you get like a lot of people writing it, it's like sending like good messages like here and there, here and there, here and there.
Yeah.
So same thing. I also try to work with colors as much as I can, cause you know I just feel like yeah. I mean that's also why on the pieces you got like a label and that's yellow, cause like I made some researches and I just saw that came out that yellow is kind of like a color that brings happiness to your brain. You know. So,
Smart man.
yeah.
You know why McDonald's has the red, right?
Yeah.
It brings hunger.
Exactly.
And they have yellow too. Look at that, you smart. All right, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my researches and yeah, so the point is really to bring something positive bring something to the table, basically. You know, that's what you want to try to do, because like otherwise, why are you doing things?
Yeah.
You know.
I'm gonna switch it up a little bit.
For sure.
So, you're from Guinea.
I am.
And at what age did you move to Paris, and how was that? How were you treated? And I mean, I've heard stories that people, the French, or whatever, they don't. The African Americans, for some reason, it's not like they're respected. And we can talk as much as you want about that, and I don't know if that's even true. That's what I've heard. So how was your experience coming to Paris from Guinea?
I mean, I arrived in France, when I was like maybe like 2 months old. So, at this age, you don't really realize things. But growing up, I just know that it was kind of a struggle for my mom, because she had to adapt to. I would say the culture, because like she has a different way of seeing things, so she would have to adapt to the culture, and she would have to fight. I would say basically, yeah, she would have to fight to put us in the best conditions, and that wasn't like something so easy, because like when you're looking for an apartment, then maybe they won't give it to you because you don't come from here, right? When you want to put your kids in a school, they're gonna be like, okay. But I mean, so yeah, she probably had to struggle with that more than I did. And I also like had like some situation when I had to deal with it. But when you're a kid, you don't really, you just like, it is what it is, so you just don't really realize things for what they are, and like how deep the situation and the issue is. It's just like, so that's just how it is, and then you move on. So you don't really, that doesn't hurt you. It's just like, because like that's what you're used to anyway,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, I grew up in France my whole life. Then I moved to Guinea when I was 10 for a year. That's kind of that's something I really like, because that's kind of reconnecting, with your bounds, reconnecting with where you come from. So that was something great, and then I came back to France. But as a kid, you don't really realize those things,
Mm-hmm.
Besides, but I mean, I kind of like talk about it though. You kind of do, because when I was a teenager, so that was like being a little bit older. But like when I was a teenager, that's when I started to have an interest for fashion,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I started to want to go to those fancy places. I mean like luxury brand like Louis Vuitton and some other brands, and I didn't find out my place. I didn't feel as I was supposed to be, and so that's something as a kid that you feel, but like you just like think, okay, so that's just that we're not supposed to be there, and then you move on. So
Do you think that's why you created your own wave too on your own clothing? Because maybe you weren't socially economic while you're gonna have the money maybe to afford those brands, so you're like, I'm gonna create my own thing here. Did that have anything to do with it?
Nah, not really, because me personally, when I start something, I don't think about the money in itself. It's more like creating. So when I started HFP, that was just like being able to wear what I like, and really wear something that I couldn't see. So you could be like very affordable brand or luxury brand, you wouldn't have what I wanted. So I had to create it. So that has nothing to do really with the money, but plus like in France, people like to wear like streetwear. So like you don't even have to have an expensive outfit, but you do need to have some sneakers. That's the rule, you know. That's how it works. So you get some sneakers, so you're still gonna go to maybe a luxury brand, or you can like just get some like collaboration type of things, like I don't know, for example, Nike, Off-White, you know. So that's where you really put money. That's into sneakers, and I don't do sneakers yet. I mean, right now I don't do sneakers, but I hope I will be able to do sneakers at some points, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, there was like really no competition. That was just like making myself happy, comfortable with what I wear, and doing the same for the people who actually like what I do.
When was your official drop, and how did that go when you did your first one, and what was the turnout? Yeah, what was the turnout?
That was funny.
Well, and then tell me about it.
That's a good question. So basically, it comes back to support. When I started, I was like, I was like giving pieces to my friends, and by chance, I had like friends living in other cities. So I was like sending everyone pieces. And then they would like make like photo shooting, in their cities, and that kind of gave me since the beginning. I mean, on Instagram, people were like, "Oh, okay, so the brand is already seen like in that city, in South of France, in Paris." So that was actually a good move. But then, I started to grow a little audience, and that's when like the people were in my DM like, "Oh, you got to drop, you got to drop, you got to drop." So I was like, "Oh, we'll say less, okay." So what I did is that because I actually needed funds to start my brand, and I had to basically sell everything I had in my room. So at the time, I thought it was the PS4. So I had to sell my PS4, I had to sell my TV. I even sold like my bed frames, and I kept the mattress, and I sold like a lot of clothes. I was a sneaker guy because like, being younger, what I used to do to get money is like basically my parents like would give me like pocket money every month. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't enough for the fancy taste that I was starting to have, because I was seeing like Kanye West wearing this and that, and I was like, oh, okay, I need those pieces too. So I started like buying like pieces to my friends, because I had like kind of like, how to say it, I had like friends who would get gifts from their parents. Instead of money, they would rather take the money. So they were down to sell back those pieces half the price just to get some cash. So I would like buy those pieces from them, and like from another guy who was like actually down to pay the full price and sell it back, and I would make money. And then I would like buy me some sneakers, buy me some stuff I like. And that's kind of how I was home. Like we were like, just like a normal family, like, and boom, I had like some Balenciaga on, I got something like, that's how I did. So I was like, I knew I wanted something, so I was like finding a way to get there, right? And so, but when I wanted to, because like what I was doing, I was just like making basically pieces to order, so like made to order. Mm-hmm. So like my phone want a piece, I just like make the piece and I give it to him, and then he shoot, or like he wear it, and that's it. So at some point I was like, so now there is an audience, so I need to actually make a production. But where do I find the money for a production? Because production is a different type of money. So that's when I had to sell everything I had in my room, and I took like the cash I had. It was about like 1,000, and then I found a factory in Paris, and I was like, okay, so I want to make like 50 hats. That's what I started with. I actually got scammed when I think about it, because now I know things, I know it works, I know the process. So I know I had to empty my room for 50 cap, and yeah, so.
You got scammed for how so though?
Huh?
How did you get scammed?
Basically the prices.
Oh, they up it?
Yeah, because I had no idea of what the prices, really were when you work with like factory, especially in France. But what the guy would do, he would basically like buy a stock from China, and then just like make the embroidery and send it back to me, But I didn't know that at the time, For me, he was like he was telling me, yeah, I do everything myself and this and that. That's made in France. That's this, that's that. And I mean, actually, you can actually say it's made in France if like the cost, of like production in France are, higher than the prices of production. I mean, like, imagine like you start a product like in China, but you finish it in France. If the product is finished in France and like the I don't know how to say it, but like all the work done costs more, then that's actually a made in France product. So legally, he wasn't lying, because like the embroidery in France were costing more than the actual arts themselves. But so I mean, yeah, the price he made me pay is insane for what it was, for the quality it is. So, but I didn't know at the time. So just about the species, and yeah, I just felt like I had some hype on my page. So I was like, everyone was like, yeah, you gotta drop, and boom, next thing you know, I dropped like 50 ads on my website, and after maybe 3 or 4 months, I have like 5 sales, including my parents and my best friends. So like no one really bought it,
You say 5 cents.
So
After 30 hats, you said?
yeah, like I had like a stock of 50, like
50.
Yeah, 50 ads
and only
like,
5 people.
Yeah, and boom. So like now I'm just like looking at it. I'm in my room, and like my friends don't even know what I'm doing, because like every night after school we used to like go and play online, GTA. And now I couldn't even play because I didn't have the PS4 no more,
Because you sold everything.
So my friends were kind of like, so now you don't have a PS4 anymore. What are you doing? You don't have a PS4 anymore. You don't like, what are you doing? And I was like, okay, so what do I do now? Basically, but I was like so passionate about it. I didn't really care. I was like, okay, it just is what it is. So I gotta think about why it didn't work, and just like try and come with like something new. I wasn't even mad at the people saying like, oh, okay, yeah, you gotta drop, and like ended up not buying. I was just like, okay, so that might come with me, and maybe there's like something I gotta change. So that's what I did. But the thing is that now I just had like those 45 ads, but I still got by the way. To this day, that was years ago.
You still have those?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's like somewhere like dying. I mean,
That's good though. That's a constant reminder that your first drop wasn't successful.
yeah, I mean, definitely.
It taught you a valuable lesson.
Definitely.
Could have given up, right? Because that's hitting pride.
That's I mean, most people will just like give up and be like, okay, I tried. At least I tried, and it just didn't work. So now let's move on, But I was like, nah, I mean, because like I said, the point for me was like ready to make things I like, So if me I like it, why would I stop making it because the people don't rock with it? Me, I rock with it, so I might just keep going. So I was like, okay, so the people didn't like it, so I just gotta think about it and see why it didn't work. And I tried some other stuff. So when I came with like a shirt and some new designs, and next thing you know, that don't work either. It's like it doesn't work either. But like the thing like between like the ads and the shirt was like I needed to find money again. Cause like now I just like my room is empty and my parents won't give me no money because like they just like can't like give me like they just like I have siblings and stuff. They gotta take care about the family and like make sure we have like food on the table. So they just can't give me like money like to play around. So I just had to figure it out my way. And so what I would do then, I don't know how you guys cut it, but like for lunch when you eat at school, basically.
Like for free?
No, it's not free, but like you can either at lunchtime you can either go back to your
just like
home to eat, or like you can eat at school, right?
Yeah,
that has like a name in France, but I don't know if you guys like call it any certain name.
Well, we're
just going to the school restaurant basically.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, so basically, but like the school restaurant is not free. It's like I don't know, like something was like $5-6 a day. But basically, my idea was telling my dad that wasn't good. That actually wasn't like that good. But I told my dad that yeah, I couldn't keep eating there because that wasn't it. And so, because I knew that it would be like, okay, so then what are we doing? And the solution was for him to give me the money, but he wouldn't give me more than what he was paying for the school restaurant. So he was just like giving me like this, let's say like €6 a day. And then what I would do was not eating basically at lunchtime and saving that money. And I did that for like a good amount of time until I could like buy something again from a friend, sell it to another friend so I could double my money again. And then I went with like some overproduction. And so I failed again with the shirts. Then I was like, okay, so this doesn't work either. So I was like, okay, but like the thing is, making those shirts in France, the embroideries, it's like so expensive. And so my price point now are super high. And it just does. I mean, maybe the people like it, but the price point are too high. So like the people like just don't buy it. And that's took me like a little bit of time to think and like to understand that first. And that's when I came with like hoodies. So at this point I was just like not trying to make everything myself. I was buying hoodies, in bulk. And then I just had like to print on the hoodies. So I didn't have to make no tech pack. I didn't have to get like someone to cut and sew. None of that, So that's like cutting the cost, So I would just like buy like hoodies in bulk, colors I like, find a design to put on it, to print on it, and boom. Oh, also one thing, I had to change my logo because that wasn't HFP at the time. That was like some other thing with like I tried to put like a earth, shape in it, but like people read HOF. But the brand is HFP. But like that was my first ever logo, so I didn't want to change it. I was like too into, that's my first logo. I like it. I don't want to change it, but I had to,
Yeah.
So I actually changed the logo for HFP. Now it was understandable. And I came with those hoodies, and then boom, the next thing you know, everything got sold out. My audience started to grow. People are like, oh, I missed the drops. I need some. I need pieces now, and that's really when it started working for me. But that was after failing for almost a year.
Wow. You just kept persevering. You kept going. You grew up playing soccer.
Yeah.
And you have a friend
Yeah.
that plays for FC Barcelona.
Yeah.
When did you meet him, and how did that ever come? Like, when did that come about? And he's a good he represents the homies from Paris brand. How did that come about?
The way we met was like supernatural. Basically, I was in Bordeaux, south of France, studying international trade, and I was working on HFP at the time. At the same time. And my school was actually super cool about it because they were like, oh, this kid is like just really trying to do something different and that works for him. So they were just letting me do it. And so, yeah, that's when like some like celebrities, artists like starting reaching out to me because they wanted pieces. So I was just like the regular kid in class.
So celebrities are reaching out to you?
Yeah, but I was like, every morning, like 8 a.m. I was in class with you, but like your favorite artist like would just like text me like, yo, I like what you do, I need some pieces. That was crazy. So my friends were like, is it that's insane, because even for myself I was like, what? So it like the artist like you just listen on Spotify, boom, you're just like reaching out like, oh, okay, I rock what you do, I need some pieces. Wow. So that was kind of like I made some noise in my city in Bordeaux, South of France, because of that. Because I was just like a young guy, just like anyone else. But the difference is the artist listen on Spotify. I talk with him, and he wants some pieces. So that's kind of I started like making me a name, like in the city, and basically one of my best friend, his name is Mehdi, was also best friend with Jules, and Jules actually heard of a brand before. And we just like starting being friends and like hanging out just like normal human beings. So me, I was doing my thing. I already had like an audience at the time. Amy was like just like really starting his like professional career. So no one, he wasn't known at the time. It was just like, we were just like kids. So that's really like the spirit of homies from Paris still. That's like just like a bunch of guys, homies, having good times, enjoying. We would like go karting, whatever, go for lunch, like just friends, like living life. So it is that's what it was. And like at some points it was like becoming hard for me to keep going. Why? That's kind of like which problem I would say, but I was because the brain was working well, like too well, and I couldn't handle it by myself because I was like a student. I had to be in class. I couldn't tell my parents that okay, I might just like stop going to school to focus on my brain because that wouldn't work. So I had to keep going, but I was like just receiving like so many DMs, texts from people. Like at the time we had like a snapshot for the clothing brand, and like you couldn't even like update it. Like he would like just like keep boom 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 text so many people, and then I had like hundred of orders to make. So like every weekend my friends would come home, and instead of like I don't know going to the beach, because like bro, you go to the beach like 1 hour away, you know, going to the beach or like this or that, they would like just like come to my place, to my apartment, and we would like pack all weekend basically, you know. So but yeah, that was kind of hard to be at school, bro. I was like literally like sleeping like 4-5 hours a night and going to school. I was going to school, boom, end of school I had to go back home, make some content for Instagram, pack orders, answer all the questions, you know, stuff like that. That's like literally a day of work. So after I'm done with school, then I work for like 8, 9, 10 hours, and boom, I sleep a little bit, and I go back to, you know, I go back to school. So that was kind of hard at some point. So I consider like not quitting, but just like taking a break from it, you know. And that's kind of when we thought, and we were kind of like, yeah, I mean, you know, you just like, you saw some friends, you started with like no connection, no knowledge in fashion, nothing, and look what you're doing. Like, you know, you got like those celebrities reaching out to you, asking for pieces of those people who actually want to wear the brand. So that means that there is like a huge potential behind it, because that just doesn't happen like that. Some people like been doing fashion for like 5, 10, 15 years, and they don't have those opportunities. So that's where we're like, okay, so we gotta see what we gotta do to improve the brand, you know, and but we gotta keep going. So that's kind of when Joe's like enter the chat, I would say, you know. And plus he has always been like a big fashion enthusiast, but at the time I would say that he would just like not get involved. He would just like look from outside, you know, look fashion from outside, and like maybe buy pieces, but like wouldn't try like so many things at the time. And that's because he was just like everyone else. He was like learning, you know, like learning, seeing, testing things. And I think that HFP also allowed him to express himself more, to get to know who he is as a creative person. Because I remember when we met, him telling me, I'm too down to earth, like I'm not a creative person at all, but he is. He just didn't know, you know. And so that's kind of not taking no credit, but that's kind of something that I feel like he started to, you know, to discover with HFP. And now when you look at him, it's just like when you think about like soccer players and like best dressed athletes, is in that chat, is in the topic, you know. So yeah, we met because we had common best friends, so we actually became friends. And that was he was just a kid with like huge dreams, huge goals. I mean, that's not huge dreams, that huge goals, because it's not even dreaming about it at this point. You just know that you're able to do it, you know. And that was the same thing for me in fashion. So we're like, okay, you and I, we're going places, so let's do it together. And that's when we started doing HFP together.
And for HFP, you said that you literally don't have like a solid store. You do like pop-ups, and then you have your drops. Because we talked about that for you, it's not about making money. No. It's about just, this is your passion. This is what you love to do. How do you prepare for one of those? I mean, I've seen your like videos and your marketing. I mean, the still social is it social distancing. I mean, they're really like great videos and all that. But how does like that whole process come about?
Me personally, what changed? Because I'm still, I'm still like studying the game and learning and basically before I used to make products and try to sell products, and I came to a realization that at least for me, it's not the right way to do things. You're not selling a product. You're selling your brand. You're selling a story. You're selling a vision. You're selling a universe. And that's what changed, I think, this year for me is that now I'm not trying to sell no products to anyone. I'm doing products, but that's not even the most important thing about it. The most important thing is the universe and the story that comes with it. And that's why I decided that was kind of hard because we had on the page last year we had like a lot of soccer players, big ones with like millions of followers, like 50, 60 millions of followers, but I just felt like I was like kind of I was kind of, I'd say, it's like when you got a branding, you got like those huge personalities running your brand, and now you're like, okay, so I might just post it, and people are gonna see it, like everyone knows those people, and you're gonna say it, and boom, now you should buy my brand. Now it doesn't work like that, your brand, and like even if it works, that's just like a short-term mentality, because a brand is supposed to be a brand at the end of the day, with or without celebrities or anyone wearing it. It's just what it is. It's here. So that was kind of hard, like to make this move at the beginning, but I just felt like now I need to start over again, make the page brand new, and focus on the universe, focus on the story that comes around the products. And now that's what I do, and that's what I try to come with those videos, 3D videos, and those stories, because I just like have like so many ideas in my mind. That's hard for me to really like focus and catch them. Because like it's like so many things going on at the same time, so I try to catch the right thing and like to drop it. And to jump back on Virgil, he said something like basically you gotta be able like to have a good idea and put it to the trash.
Yeah, you say have an idea.
Do have a good idea?
Yeah.
But still put it to the trash, but because that's just like not what you should do right now. I mean, he said something like that, and that inspires me a lot. And so I don't think what I was doing before was bad. I actually just like was in the process, but I just feel like you shouldn't say the product. You should say your universe and the story. So that's what I try to do with my content now. I want my content. I don't want to post like just to post. I don't want to be no social media slave. Like you gotta post once a day. Otherwise, algorithm won't work with you. Nah, I post when I got something to say.
Yeah.
And if I don't have anything to say, I'm quiet and listening or walking. That's it.
How's your trip been here in LA since you've been here, and has it been, you're obviously still giving away your products and doing whatnot and all that, but how do you come about when you want people to invest in your company or be part of your company? How do you, how do you go about on that?
I stay in LA. I mean, I used to live here, so LA feels like home to me. That's a place I really like. But at the same time, people told me, especially my doctor, I should like take like vacation because I've been working like for 3 years taking no vacations. Because like every time I want to, I'm just like, nah, I can't, because now there's like this coming soon, so I gotta keep working. But like with us mentality, I mean, I still think that is true, but with us mentality, then you can never stop, never take no break. So I was actually supposed to come here to split my time between like taking some rest, time to just like recalibrate, I would say, and I started doing that like 2-3 weeks before coming here. I started with like social media detox. social media detox. So that means like no social media anymore, no Snapchat. I still have to keep Instagram because of HFP, because like we still have to keep up with what the customers say or stuff like that. But I would just like log in like maybe once a day for 15 minutes, check, and just like go back about my day. And that was so good. That was like literally like that works, because I saw that online. I actually saw that online. Yeah, you should like do like social media detox, and I was like, yeah, I mean, what is social media detox gonna do for you? But I gave it a try, and I just felt like I could like think more, focus more, memorize things more. So it's like having superpowers, you know. And coming to LA was also, the point was also like to keep like, you know, being on this wave and recalibrate. And here you got more sun that you do in Paris, so
Sun,
vitamin D. Yeah. Vitamin D is important. So yeah, that's really like, you know, getting over energy. But at the same time, I just can't be here and sit around and not do anything. So I just felt like I can't just like take like full vacation. So I gotta keep doing my thing. So I try to get some rest just by going to the beach at some points, you know, at the end of the day or stuff like that when I can. But at the same time, when you're in a city like LA, and plus, you know, like a few people here and there, you just got like to use that time to connect with the people. And I like to share my products with them, because like that's how you share things. That's like something that comes out of your brain, and now you're just sharing it with the people, and they like it, and so I just do that. I just like connect with some guys, athletes, people I know, give them pieces, and I keep working. We actually like took offices here in LA, like just for like, you know, to be able to, yeah, I had to, you know, I went like other side of the world, like across the ocean, and I still had to get offices here and to be able to go.
So you're not really listening to your doctor?
Actually not. That's crazy, because I actually had to I had an appointment like by visual with my doctor, and he was like, so are you taking some time off? And I was like, oh, I'm just got out of office. He was like, how you got out of the office in LA? I was like, yeah. So you know, but that's pretty weird. Some of my friends were like, how can you be in LA and you in the office? But me personally, I just feel good there, you know.
Well, it's your passion. You love it.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm at my place, you know. Yeah. And I'm just like thinking about things, because otherwise I just know myself. Because like the first few days, for my first like 2-3 days, I didn't have an office, so I was just like, you know, here and there, but like still giving pieces to people, NBA guys, stuff like that. But I didn't have an office, and I was starting to have mood swings, literally. Like I would feel good, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm like in a bad mood, and I'm like, why am I even in a bad mood? You know, it's like it's sunny outside, everyone is cool, you know, I'm having a good time. I'm in a city I like, and yeah, but so that's when I took the office, and now we working from there, and for me that's just what works for me, and I'm actually happy to do it, because I remember when I started, you know, when I was in high school, just like starting HFP, like just like the thought of coming to the US, that was like kind of the impossible, you know, because like it's expensive, like you got to pay for that flight, and I mean my parents couldn't even like you know go too far, you know, for vacation during the summer. So we had like to stay like pretty close from where we were living, so like 1 hour away, 2 hours away, stuff like that. And so like going to the US, like just like the flights and like everything, the life, that was like just not possible. And I was just like seeing my friends going every summer, but I was like, that's just for them, just like the, you know, just like the luxury brands, that's for them, you know, that's not for me.
Yeah.
So now being able to be in LA, have offices here, connecting with the people, seeing that the people likes us, what we do. I see that in Miami, like the brand is starting to grow. I just love that. It's like really manifesting everything you want. Like people tell you that's impossible until you do it.
You're doing it, man. You really are doing it. You have started from high school. You failed. You still have those hats. You go now. You know where to go get the resources from Portugal.
Yep, definitely.
And you're doing it, and then, you know, you just, all of them matter if you just kept at it. But the difference was, what people don't understand is this your passion.
Yeah.
When you're passionate about something, it's not going to come overnight. It's not going to come, you know, it's a long journey. It's a marathon, like Nipsey Hussle used to always say.
I love him.
Yeah, I do too. And
He's one of my biggest inspiration too.
Yeah, I've always liked him too, but it was always about, you know, it might not be a hit right now, but if you keep at it, eventually it will. But it's not even, you don't even come about like, oh, I want to make it big. You just come about, I love doing this. I love podcasting. I mean, it's my thing. It's like, you know, it brings me pleasure. It brings me joy to see people, like talk to people's story, like to get information from people and telling their story. You know, you got to tell the vision, tell someone's story and stuff. I wanted to wrap it up like this. You are looking for people on your team to challenge you. Yeah. To be able to tell you, like, I don't like that idea. You know, I maybe have a better way, but explaining to you why they don't like it. And I know you mentioned that you wanted like a solid team, and that's kind of something that you are still struggling trying to find. So
that's hard to find the right people, because you got to find like passionate people, you know, people that are like I would say purpose minded, you know. And not everyone is necessarily purpose minded. Some people are just like, I mean, fine with like living like paycheck to paycheck and just as long as they pay the bills, they're good, and that's actually right, you know. But you gotta be able to find people who actually think outside of the box, like, and that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I love. You talking about Nipsey also, because every time I feel like I'm going off road, then I just look at his interviews. And like, in every phase, like everything you say is just like on point, you know.
His interviews are great.
Yeah, he's just on point. So when you build a team, you gotta be able to find people with your mentality, you know, and people are able to push you. Basically, you gotta hire people who are actually better than you at what they do, and you learn from them. So being a boss is like having a team. Sure, you gotta lead, because that's where you want to go in the vision, but you gotta be able to sit and listen and learn from the people around you, because like, if you're the only person who has like knowledge, then you ain't going places, because no man is an island, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to surround myself with people who actually know what they do and why they are doing that. So yeah, looking for people.
So I'll make sure I drop all your information down in the description, and whoever wants to take the challenge,
please
hit them up,
please.
But hey, man, I appreciate you being on this podcast today, man. It was a pleasure getting to know about your story about Homies from Paris.
Yes, sir.
And thanks, you know, I'm gonna be rocking it. So when that drop comes out, the hearts, you know, I got to get me the sweatpants and all that. But thanks, man. I really appreciate it. That was dope.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, everyone. And until the next time.
Bye-bye.